Gary's Fisher amp board rebuild starts now. Good evening, YouTube. Here with you on a Sunday evening. I have been putting this amplifier board of Gary's Fisher together. It has been kind of a rough experience. I took a break around, well, I don't know what time it was, whatever time the game came on. The AFC championship game came on. This socket here, you see this is a transistor socket. It's the one for the driver transistor. It is missing a leg. And I was playing around with it. I had all three legs. I was playing around with it, trying to tighten it up to where, because it kept falling out. And I was trying to tighten up there's a pin on this side that needs to be moved in. It was spread out this way. And when I was doing that, I dropped it on my, I thought on my pants, but then I heard it hit the mat down there. So, whenever that happens, I thought, well, this is a good size chunk of metal here. I mean, it goes from here to here, and there's two little legs there that fit inside there. And I thought, well, surely I can find that. Let me tell you, I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked and looked some more. Then I took that break I was talking about and went in and watched the game and came back in here. It's about 12 minutes after 11 right now, and looked again. Of course, that was when I first came in. That was right after the game. But yeah, I've been finishing up the other stuff, so I have yet to find it. And it's just one of those things where, it's I don't know who gets a hold of it, Murphy or whoever gets a hold of it. But I mean, like I said, that is a big chunk of metal. And I've got my huge, not huge, but I mean my bright light down there looking, really close at it. And I'm thinking, I'm surely I'll find it. I didn't. So what I did was come up with a alternative, and I will show you that after I get everything together and show you what that looks like. Alright, well, you've seen me put it together now, and you can look in there and see a green, let me see if I can point it, green, round green, that is actually a socket in there. It's a nice C socket. It's got quite a few pins around it, but it worked out to where it would fit this transistor, and I just cut the rest of the pins off of it, marked the correct holes that it used, and it's in there good and solid. It's, soldered in, and it should be just fine. It's a little lower than the other one, but that's not a big deal at all. So, I mean, the rest of them actually are lower than this one, so I don't think I have that one in all the way, I guess. But anyway, I'm not going to complain too much about it. The only thing I have left to do to this now is put this transistor, this diode in. It goes same place this one does, I think. No, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. Here it is. It's one of these. It goes across well, I don't know exactly where. It goes across one of these places, and it gets soldered in. Oh, I see. It solders to these two posts. Okay, no problem. And that needs to be done, and also put the new transistors in. I want to be fresh for that because it's going to take a little doing. And I also want to, I've got to readjust this holder, or whatever you want to call it, for the diode. It's got to be shaped just like that one, and it's a little bit out of whack now. So I've got to reshape that, and like I said, I've got to prepare the got to get the leads off of this and put them on the new transistors, and shape the transistors much like what these are. And in addition to that, I'm still trying to locate the two round silicon, or not silicon, mica or whatever they are, washers that keep, you know, insulate the heatsink collector from the heatsink of this. So need to find those. If not, I'm gonna have to order a couple, because I don't think these flat ones or their square ones are big enough to accommodate those. If they are, I'll use those if I can't find the others. But anyway, either way, I've got to try to find those and get those set up and ready. So like I said, I want to be fresh. I've been working on this since the game got over, and you've seen the progress that I made. I tried to make a capture of each time I added something. Of course, I had it upside down like this, and you know, each time I added a piece, and you should be able to see the progression as I went around through here and like that. And I'll try to do the best I can with that. It's going to take me a little while to set that up in VideoPad. So, like I said, this may not be posted for a while, but once it is, you'll see. And for Gary, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. You know, I sure hope this works. I mean, I have tested every component. When I was putting these back in, I tested them again to make sure they were the correct value as I put them in. And so this is as close to tolerance as any amplifier can possibly be. The traces have been checked, everything has been checked. And once I get this all back together, the first thing I'm going to do is check the zero balance thing it speaks of in the manual, and get that set up and make sure all the adjustments that are required for this amplifier are done, and make sure this thing actually works this time. And if it doesn't, Gary, you're out of luck, buddy. I mean, I think I have tried my best on this, and you know, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but I'm just saying in case. I just want to prepare you for the worst, because I've dealt with this amplifier. A note about the diode pack. Remember, I was going to rebuild the diode packs? Well, there's the one I did rebuild. Now that's the exact same one as those, okay? And it measures, I pulled one off this side. It measures about a little over 2 volts on the drop in the with the meter K, and I measured both of these. Now one of these measures right at 2, and the other one's 1.996, I think, or 992 or something like that. So and this one, the one I made, was 2.2, and I think it's further away from these than this one was. So I just went ahead and used the old ones because I wanted it as close as possible, and so I figure, rather than put something in there that's even further away or whatever, I just thought that would be the thing to do, is to use the old ones and go from there. I did use some heat shrink and made them to where they're nice and, you know, back like they're supposed to be. And like I said, that's what I did. So I don't know what else to do with them. Again, they're matched with these, and this side works. We know this side works. Gosh, do we know it. And so I don't know else to, you know, how else to say this, but that's just as close as we can get it. You You know, I understand these resistors here are different than these, but they're electrically the same wattage and all. And so, you know, that's what are you gonna go with? I mean, that's it. That's all. You know, I could have got cement resistors, I guess, if I kept looking, but you know, they they do the same job. It's nothing that's calls for any specific type of resistor. So you know, like I say, it is as close as I can get it. And you know, other than that, I don't know what to tell anybody. I'd like to see if this doesn't fix it. I would like to know the answer. I mean, I may send this to somebody else just to see what they say about it. Somebody that knows obviously more than I know. And I don't know everything. You guys know that. But, you know, as far as replacing faulty components with new components, I can do that. I thought. And so, you know, that I thought would fix it. So, you know, the only thing that I didn't do was to replace the not the driver, but the output transistors with the same type, because I couldn't find any cheap enough to do, and I did find those now finally. So these will be exactly the same as them. I mean, really, there's not much difference. I mean, we're back in business in the 60s or whenever this was built. If you went and got a replacement transistor for that one right there, this was what you got, was the ECG replacement transistor, and that's what you got. So, you know, if it doesn't work, and that's a new old stock, it's not been used or anything like that, so that should be it. So, like I say, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm not going to jinx it any. Like I said, I'm going to get done with this and call it a day. I think it's time to do that. And you guys have a pleasant evening. And I will bring you back whenever I get this wrapped up, and we'll do another video on it. But for right now, that's it. That's all I'm doing. And you guys, like I say, have a pleasant evening. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see ya.